Recently, I got the opportunity to ask an ex-Tesla employee a few questions about their housing initiatives. Considering how skilled Tesla and SpaceX is at manufacturing, I figured it could be interesting to ask whether or not they had been pursuing housing. Before we get to that 6-minute interview, what do you think of this plate on the hood of this Tesla? Could it be a lead plate protecting a nuclear reactor? Let me know if you have any other running theories. I think this could be Elon's personal car, which he runs experiments with while he's in town.
These starships used in flight were built using automated construction. They have an arc welder attached to an X-ray system that judges the quality of the welds, assembling cylinders to create the starship. The hub is like the SpaceX break room here on the facility. They're also working on some other cool stuff. It features this addition, which has been 3D printed in place by Apis Core. The last time we were here, this was just a big pile of pallets labeled SpaceX house. It was very alluring. Now there are these 4 units. If you can help me figure out what kind of buildings these are, I'd greatly appreciate it. Maybe I can get in touch with their leadership team and have them on my podcast. Down the road from where we saw those old pallets and the new buildings, we have all of these new pallets, way more than before, and they're clearing this space, preparing some plumbing over there as well. This looks very obviously like some kind of research and development program within SpaceX to figure out housing solutions, because they're trying so many different things. It would be the most cost effective just to do one solution 200, 300 times, but trying a lot of different stuff will give them the right product to scale.
We got our next guest. We got Jarrett with his really cool background. What's up, man?
Hey, man. I'm in my my new YouTube studio set, but I wanted to talk about Tesla housing with you potentially.
Sure.
Tesla is such a manufacturing expert. The housing industry is such an important industry. Construction's huge in America, around the world.
Sure.
Tesla is developing the HVAC solutions, I know. So with your insider perspective, what do you think about Tesla getting into housing manufacturing?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You want to plug your YouTube channel real quick while you're on here?
Yeah, it's just my name,
Yeah.
Jarrett Gross,
Yeah.
JARETTGROSS. It's all about 3D printed houses. I've been traveling around the world to visit and tour all the different 3D printed homes. I'm interested in automated construction. That's automate construction in the background. So
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how that's going to happen. And it seems like 3D printed construction isn't making things cheaper yet in that application. So I'm wondering, maybe there's some large scale manufacturing with Agile or with the like 4D manufacturing Tesla facilities. How can they, or will they even pursue housing?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I think from at least what I learned from when I worked there, I think Tesla has the ability to really approach problems their own way. So I think when it comes to automated building or housing or getting into the housing system, I think about it, okay, so like Elon thinks about 10, 20 years in the future, okay? And what are we going to try to do in 10 to 20 years from now is colonize Mars in some respect, okay? So cool. So if we know that's going to be a thing that's potentially going to happen in the future, why wouldn't housing be part of that solution? Why wouldn't be Elon and the teams at SpaceX and Tesla and the other areas try and see if they can solve for that? So one of the things that I've been thinking about, I made a video about this not too long ago, was that I think there might be a market for Tesla to get into sort of the habitat game, for example, where they're trying to build out areas where people, like, say they land on Mars and they don't have to freaking wear a suit. They can just go out on the ground or whatever with just a habitat that, say it's 2 blocks by 2 blocks or something in the city, to try and make the colonization of Mars way more straightforward, way easier for people to adopt. And like you said, like the HVAC thing that they're working on is a direct correlation to that, because you have to figure out how to freaking pump air in there. You have to figure out how to recycle the air. You think about the Cybertruck getting built out and the steel that they're using for that. Could you leverage that in the supply chain to build out a habitat or even a home? I don't know. I think it really becomes a piece of, like, when I think Tesla or Elon getting into housing, it's just what does that mean within the context of colonizing Mars? And I think if we think about it within that context, it sort of becomes a little bit more potentially clear how Tesla might approach that problem. I could be 100% wrong.
The Cybertruck, I think about the Gigapress, the Hydra Press, and maybe there's a way they could implement that with housing. But do you want a house made out of metal? And can you bring a Gigapress to Mars? Can you use regolith in a Gigapress? I don't know the answers to any of these questions.
Yeah, neither do I. But I think what it really comes down to is if it makes sense for Elon at some point and his companies to get into some sort of housing project because there's so many technologies that are shared potentially. HVAC, build outs, whatever you want to call it, just simple like supply chain, even the solar roof, if you really think about it. One of the reasons why it seems like, from what we're hearing in the news, is that one of the mitigating factors, or one of the factors that's really making the solar roof hard to adopt, is that you have to freaking build this thing for a lot of unique houses, and each
Hmm.
house is built differently. You could partner with like builders and stuff, but you're still working with companies that have been building homes the same way for, I don't know, 50 years. I have no freaking idea, right? So there's a lot of room for disruption there. And Elon and companies and his companies have been extremely good at disrupting and innovating on those things. So what could make the build out of a solar roof much faster and easier? Freaking build your own house and make it so that the house and the roof are super easy to build, so you can really drive the adoption of sustainable energy generation, things like that. So it's probably not going to be for another like 10-20 years at least, I think, if Tesla and Elon were to get in that game. But it's a lot of shared skill sets, it's shared knowledge. It's automation and build out of things, and manufacturing is like, just I feel like you can apply to anything. It's just a lot of shared expertise. Now, of course, you're going to have some minutia in between them, but you just need engineers to build stuff, and Elon has the best engineers. So why wouldn't you build freaking houses? I
That's what
don't
I'm
know.
thinking. I mean, 10, 20
Yeah,
years is not a long time. I can wait
right.
that long.
Yeah, same, man. Great question. Thank you so much. And again, you want to plug your channel one more time for the viewership?
Yeah, it's just my name, Jared Gross, JarettGross, and it's all about construction automation. If I
Awesome.
could ask one more question, have you been to
Of
Boca
course.
Chica?
I have not yet.
You haven't. They have a ton of like Airstream units and some other experimental housing down there. I visited twice. So I guess they're not doing anything that you know about in terms of experimenting with housing solutions.
The only thing that I know of that Elon is tied to is like that $50,000 house that he's
Yeah,
got. Apparently,
boxable.
that boxable, right? So maybe that's he's living in there because he's trying to beta test and seeing, okay, is there something here, kind of thing. Like, how can we use this to scale it up?
Well, he
I
bought a
have seen.
house in Boca Chica for $50,000.
Yeah,
He also happens to have a boxable unit in his backyard in that house that he purchased for 50,000. But
got
that's
you,
just a regular house, the same as all the other houses on the street. It was a long time ago before SpaceX was there. The land was worthless.
got you,
Uh,
got you.
but so he doesn't live in it full time. Certainly, he may have one in his backyard or something.
Got it.
But yeah, man, I don't want to take up any more time of the live stream. Thanks.
You're
It's
good,
awesome
man.
you made this available. If you
Of
do it in
course,
the
man.
future, maybe I'll hop on again
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
later
Thank you
on.
so much for
Thanks.
stopping by. Take it easy, back. Cool. Awesome. Guys, I don't know if this is a glitch, but it says that we have 5,000 people watching. Can you verify that for me?